Damu and Kiwe Conversation, the only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Welcome to the Damu and Kiwe Conversation. It's Duke Sims, the Dunn. And if you didn't know, we got the content. Bricc Baby starts the CS2 back paperwork challenge. If you ain't brought your paperwork to the table, you ain't in no position to be questioning somebody else's paperwork. See, when you hit that yard, you got 30 days to bring your work. You know what I'm saying? If you don't present your work, then go and roll your little property up in a little burrito, roll it on up, and go to that thing and tell them you can't live here no more. You can't be. Now, if you get it while you're in the hole and you can come back out and you got proof, then you can come back. But you can't walk this line. You can't walk this metaverse without first bringing your paperwork. This was ingenious. Hey, Bricc, not the trick. Free the Bricc, man. But the Brickster, Bricc Baby starts the CS2 back paperwork challenge. So he's specifically talking about this the mainstream mafia Crip, Deja 34, and Death Row investigation. He's talking about the joint task force. You know what I'm saying? This is what he's talking about getting. You know what I'm saying? CS2 back don't want none of them problems. But listen, before we even get into it, hit that like button. It's like taking your chucks off at the front of a gangster's door before you enter into the red carpet. In this case, because it's Bricc, not the trick, before you step on that blue carpet. You know what I'm saying? The blue carpet treatment. You know what I'm saying? Bricc, not the trick. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get right into the content. Hey, look, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We're on that trail to 10,000 subscribers. We're 60 subscribers from 9,000. So we're 1,060 subscribers from 10K. Listen, on a chase down to 10K, man, y'all go ahead and subscribe to that page. Until then, let's get into Bricc, not the trade. You dig? Let's get to it.
What's the big old deal? What's the big old deal? Don't see you late, man.
Good,
It's the Bricc. I know y'all ain't heard from me in a minute. I've been sitting back, kicking it, man. But you know, Mr. Face Down, Ass Up, and mentioning my name so much that I got it. I don't even have to defend myself, so I'm not even gonna get on here acting like I'm finna defend myself. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You get no points for not telling. That's what a real nigga's supposed to do. So I'm not gonna shower myself with flowers, none. You know what I mean? You people that feel like you need to be showered with flowers because you didn't tell, that mean that it was a thought in the back of your head that you could get off on somebody. But this is all I want to know. Mr. Cash Jones, Wack100, right? Whatever happened to the case that was filed on you for conspiracy to commit murder? That's all I want to know. You know what I mean? We just want you to go get the paperwork to all the cases that you've had filed.
So if y'all don't know what paperwork he's talking about, it was alleged by Studdabox. It was alleged by Studdabox that Wack100 dropped his low. You know what I'm saying? And that resulted in his car getting shot up. You know what I'm saying? And his wife was in the car with him. They got away by the hair on their chinny chin. You know what I'm saying? And Studdabox spoke on this. We're gonna go to Los Scandalous Confidential before we get back in there, because I don't want to just assume that everybody knows about exactly what the Bricc is talking about. But this is what he alleges. Let's go to Studdabox. You know what I'm saying? LA Confidential. You know what I'm saying? That was the name of the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Man, what's up with it, man? You know, I've been wanting to check something, but you always got to be thinking, man, before you open your mouth. Especially if you really thinking about moving, you feel me? It should be silence and violence. You know, I want to speak on this dude keep kicking my name. I told this nigga I'ma drown his ass, homie, on Main Street. I'ma drown, cuz. Let me tell you how I meet this clown, man. This nigga all in my paperwork, man. The nigga say box, the nigga Shug won't put me on, homie. I've been fucking with this dude for a couple years. I said, all right, homie. Since you my neighbor, I'ma fuck with you. The nigga begged me to put him with game. Begged me to put him with Chuck. Holla at Chuck for me, box. Holla at Reggie for me, box. They both told me 6 times, no, no, no. So I say, homie, they don't want to fuck with you. Box, they'll do it for you if you tell them to do it for you. Okay, homie. Chuck, do it for me, man. And if cuz fuck up, I come over there and move cuz out your camp myself. Chuck said, box, you got me? I said, cuz I got you. Changed cuz life, man. He ain't looked back. In the meantime, I'm going do some politicking with my neighborhood. You know, not finna kick no names. Rest in peace to the G homie. You ain't saved no homies, homie. You ain't changed my daughter diaper. My son don't call you. He just took a deal for 11 years. He on his way home. Don't nobody respect you. You are J. Edgar Hoover, nigga. You know, in trans, nigga. You the police. What really fucked me up is why I decided to let this buster ass nigga know I know what he did, right? The nigga called me one day and say, box, I'm out in my truck. Where you at? I said, I'm at home, homie. He say, they own my wife at the mall. Look out for me. I grabbed the blicky, smash up there. I see his wife coming out the driveway. I see some dudes. They most likely probably trying to holler at her. I don't know, right? But they disrespecting her movements. So I get them up off of them. I ain't gonna say what I did, but I got the niggas up off of them. Up off of her. Fast forward, I'll get to some gangster shit. Nigga almost killed me and my baby mama, put like 20 holes in my Rolls Royce. See, but where I'm from, niggas beef, 3, 4 niggas, 5 niggas get killed, and niggas squash it. This old buster ass nigga from the valley, since hanging around me, he know a few people I know. He trying to reach out to the nigga behind my back to give the nigga my address, cause we stay across the street from each other, like cat corner. This damn near 20 years ago though. This nigga keep kicking my name, infatuated, but he's a homosexual after 20 years. Wack, you know I'ma drown your ass on Main Street. I'ma drown your ass. First chance I get. I can see how, no disrespect to Nip, cuz, but I can see how a nigga, a drowning nigga, then turn back and kick him in their motherfucking face on Main Street. But anyway, I call Wack. My Rolls Royce gets shot up. My girl almost get killed. I lay on top of her. We make it up out of there. Wack see the bullet holes in my car the next day. He reaching out trying to contact a nigga who supposed to be the boogeyman. I know where the nigga live at, behind my back. It's in the paperwork. All on wiretap. That's why your house got raided, you bitch ass nigga. You conspiracy to commit murder, nigga. You buster ass nigga. But let me tell you how it play out. I call cuz, like, cuz, it's 3 niggas sitting in front of your house, cuz. Is these your homies, Wack? Oh, no, Box, I don't know who that is. I jet flew out the house with the fully. Then niggas probably almost shot each other trying to pull off. You feel me? Almost shot each other. If I know what I knew now, I would have jumped over their car, cuz, ran across the lawn, kicked in Wack door, and killed cuz on Main Street, on Mafia. You's a buster, nigga. You the police. You got the homie. You know, every real nigga that came into your life, me first, you crossed me. Big U second, you crossed him. Wacko, you crossed him. You talk about Game behind his back. You talk about Lil John behind his back. You talk about Ray J. You's a bitch, nigga. And you know, it's like, you know, like Malcolm has said, when a chicken come home to roost, it's all mafia, cuz. It's all mafia. A nigga holler at you, homie. You know, you police ass nigga, talking about nigga, the first code of conduct is you don't talk to the police. Nigga, you is the police, nigga. Officer Wack, snitch ass 100.
So that's what Bricc is talking about. Happened with a conspiracy to commit murder. Now, Wack100 was caught on wiretap. Alleged Wack100 was caught on wiretap dropping the low on Studdabox, which resulted in an attempted murder. They missed, thank God, you know what I'm saying? And because they missed, it put Studdabox in a situation. It put Wack in a situation because it was one overt act as part of the conspiracy to murder him that was taken out. The fact that they missed doesn't mean it's not conspiracy to commit murder. It was now just an attempted murder. And he said this is why his house was raided. That's the wiretap Wack told us he got caught on. And we gonna get into that. Let's go.
Against you. We don't care about the gun case in Oklahoma. That could have, where you got caught with 20 guns and all that shit. I got caught with less than.
The gun was 3 guns. It was 3 guns, and it was in Texas on his way to Oklahoma. Bricc, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we already see the outcome of that. So I just want to know, from a man to a man, when they kicked your door in over you being the gossip little troll you are, talking to Studdabox and talking to Dale Dog, you dropping the low on Studdabox saying that he live across.
This call is from a federal prison.
Dale Dog, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Shout out to Double D's, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Street Mafia.
The American College of Prosthodontists estimates
Conversations, you know what I'm saying? Let's get to this.
But matter of fact, I'm gonna get Studdabox on the phone on my next video. We gonna go over it lick by lick, right? But explain to me what happened when they kicked your door in for conspiracy to commit murder. Those type of cases just don't go away. So, did you turn evidence of the U.S. government or the state? What happened? Because we have no clue. If you say that you not CS2 back, cool. We know that you CS2 back. But what happened to the case? How you get off from the conspiracy case? You gave Del.
That nigga said, you can say you're not CS2 back, but we know you're CS2 back. You know what I'm saying? But we want to know is how you got off the case. So since it's just everybody knows that there's no reason to continue to hide. Just bring the paperwork so we can know what you did to get off of that conspiracy to commit attempted murder. Let's go.
Dog, the information why them phones was tapped. And Studdabox got shot up. His house or his car got shot up. and you was to blame for it. They came and kicked your door. You let your wife go down for the blower. You know what I mean? Another bitch ass nigga move. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You got your girls. It wasn't. I don't think that it was registered to her. I don't want to get ahead of the game, but your girl didn't have a registered blower. You let her take the case, and so that means you told on your bitch, and you told on them niggas from Main Street.
Well, his broad, Greg Kading is claiming we have got no verification that the gun found, and he was saying it was one gun, and we'll get into that also. Matter of fact, let's get into that now. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into that now. You know what I'm saying? Since it comes into question, because first there's a discrepancy on how many guns were found. He brought Greg Kading to lie and say it was one. I got him saying it was guns plural. These are not my guns, right? So what we're gonna do is leverage on so Box gave him Wack. Let's go confronted with allegation. All right, here we go. I think we already got the. Let's see that. And he still never sued Mark Stevens. He said he was gonna do it. He definitely ain't doing that. Mark Stevens will, bro. That lawsuit will be dismissed so quick that he was smart not trying to sue Mark Stevens. Let's get to this real quick. Let's go.
Dude says, well, we still got your client on two different situations. He like, is that right? We'll put him on the table. We walking out of here, right? So first situation, he said, well, we found firearms in the house. He's an ex-con convicted felon. He can't be around firearms, right? So I stopped my attorney. I said, well, you ain't found no firearms in my house. He said, yes, we did. These firearms and such and such.
These firearms, not this firearm. These, meaning plural.
I said, well, I ain't never seen them firearms in my life. He said, well, they registered to your wife. I said, well, what they got to do with?
Now he's saying that they're registered, the firearms are registered to Kimberly Jones.
Me. He said, well, that's your wife. I said, okay, well, what they got to do with me? He said, well, you live in a home. I said, you can't prove I live in that home. Right? What, you got some cars that's registered to a corporation? Matter of fact, I said, can I go in my back pocket? I pull my wallet out. I slide my wallet. What's this? That's where I live. I've been a resident.
So he tries to say because he's a resident in Oklahoma that they weren't able to substantiate his residence in California, that he was you can have joint residency like I do, Wisconsin and Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? My taxes is both because my business is in California. So then we're going to go to Greg Kading with allegations, give him the opportunity to tell some. Greg was the lead investigator and lied about that. Claims nothing in paperwork. And then Greg Kading comes on Clubhouse and lies and says that the gun was Kim's dad. So he's saying that it's registered to Kim and that it was one gun, but we got proof right there that he forgot. He already admitted it was multiple guns, plural, and they're saying that the guns belong to her dad. Listen, he brought an FBI agent to lie on Clubhouse about this case. He definitely has to bring his paperwork before he talk about somebody else. That's a fact.
What's happened to me was my home. Like, y'all really fucking looked into me.
Yeah, we did. We looked into you. We wiretapped you and started to track your truck and do everything we could to verify whether or not the information that we were receiving was valid. And Ultimately, it turned out not to be. We did a search warrant at your house and came up pretty much empty-handed, with the exception of some worn-out old gun that I think belonged to your wife's dad or some shit like that.
Things happened to me was
Belong to your wife, dad. So there's a lot of different discrepancies about how many guns, who the guns were registered to, that they're being very evasive from presenting the facts. That's why you need to work. You can't just go by CS2 back. That's how he's been making it. You guys haven't forced him to bring the paperwork. He said he has the paperwork. He said he read the paperwork with Big U in Big U backyard. That's a fact. So let's get back to Bricc, not the trick. But there's a discrepancy about how many guns was found. You know what I'm saying? There's a discrepancy, you know what I'm saying, who the guns belong to, who they were registered to. You know what I'm saying? And then he says there was a discrepancy about him living there. But before the feds get a search warrant to come search your house, they're going to make sure they got proof of residency. Your clothes there. And in California, all you need is to get mail there. You mean to tell us you got an office there? Because he said they searched his office, right? You got an office there, but you don't get no mail there? Yeah, your kids there, your wife there. Are you telling me that they're not gonna? Yeah, I guess, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the 100 EBT side. We ain't buying what you selling, nigga. Let's go.
Well, you tried to. They already knew you was hot, and they wouldn't answer none of your phone calls. Because what you said in a YouTube or a Clubhouse room, you said that, hey, do you know somebody told on me? You said, hey, all I was trying to do was holler at Del Dog and tell him that Studdabox might be telling. But guess what? That's all CS2 Back was talking about in his paperwork. They was just trying to get to Double D. Double D say, I don't want to talk to Wack.
That's a fact. He said he didn't want to talk to Wack. He has no time for that brother. That's what he said. And he's trying to get us on the phone. You know that's what they got going on. Yeah. This is the wiretap I exposed. CS2 Back wiretap. Transcribe. A call between CS2 Back to Money Mark Stevens, who tries to three-way and link him with Del Dog, and Double D wasn't trying to talk to the nigga, and so he's sitting on the other hold because niggas already think he working. Del Dog and Mark Stevens thought that he was working, trying to get him on wiretap then, and that's what was going on, because that's CS2 Back. Let's go.
I don't know how CS2 Back got switched up to Wack, but they say they don't want to talk to the Wack nigga. So Mr. Cash Jones, this is we gonna do it like we on the yard. We giving you a 30-day challenge, right, to come produce that paperwork or hang your chucks up on the wire. We don't want to hear the excuses. We don't want you to babble on about, oh, everybody just want me to be a snitch. We just want the facts to be facts. All my paperwork is public property. You get what I'm saying? So,
Public
with
record,
that being
my
said,
nigga.
all you got to do is go to whatever hall of records you could go to. Go get that paperwork, which you probably got in the house. You probably burnt that shit, though. You don't want that shit nowhere around you, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about the protection of everybody else on the case. You be talking too much, because you 600, all y'all want to stay relevant off the Bricc name.
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. Take a string and a pencil, twist off.
Say shit. Let's get back to it. Bricc, not the trick.
You can't be the Bricc. You'll never be a real nigga. Once you do some gay shit, once you do some shit that involves working with the police, talking to the police, being an informant, you could never be a real nigga again. Yeah, especially not on gang time in the gang world, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's enough about CS2 Back, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get out here and defend myself. The facts is the facts. You know what I'm saying? You don't got one nigga in the world that ever been to jail due to Bricc Baby. Ever. In life. You'll never find one nigga that'll get on the internet or get to anywhere on a phone call with you and say, yeah, Bricc told on me and I end up doing some time. I could go point to 7 different niggas and a bitch that'll put some fingers in your booty that'll tell me that you ain't no real nigga. If you let the bitch put the fingers in your booty, you're not a real nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? The bitch that you was cracking that day that you was face down, ass up, she figured you was so.
This call is from a federal prison.
She figured you was so weird that she had to record your gay ass, asshole nigga, twinkling your toes on the rush to get back on Clubhouse. Gossiping mean that much to you that you'll still be asshole naked. That type of shit turn you on. Arguing with a man and going to knock down the bitch, man. You know what I mean? But there's been another one, nothing like the other one of your brother's son, nephew. I ain't gonna keep going about that. My court date is not December 9th. It's December 19th. We need everybody to be down there that's for the Bricc. Talk about free the Bricc. We need all the character letters. Because I've been standing on real nigga shit from day one. You get what I'm saying? We need everybody down there for the realest to ever do it, man. You know what I mean? It ain't no hiccups or nothing about this shit. You know what I'm saying? You won't even find a good phone tap of the Bricc, man. You know what I mean? But look, also, I just wanted to send a special shout out to everybody that been rocking with me since day one. We need Ethica to come through. We need Character Media to come through, No Jumper Media to come through, Cinematic, what is it, Cinematic TV. We need y'all to come through. Somebody reach out to Alex Alonso, man. Tell him that I do need a character letter. It would have been dope if he could have got involved with this case, showing that it has nothing to do with basically anything on this earth with gang banging in the RICO, man. You know what I mean? Loose cannon. It's only 2 people that's on that indictment.
Let me see if I can get Alex on.
That is from Rolling 60. Loose cannon is not from Rolling 60. He's up under the guidance of Wack100. You know what I mean? All the IBM niggas, they suck. But anyway, it go. Poetic Flacco down for day one. Kid Ink down from day one. My good people, Trap Lord Ross, Remo, Mikey, Desto Dub, who else? Conrad from the ass, who else? I could go on and on. My big brother Rick, who else, man? Them type of people, not the J Money type of niggas that'll lie to you. Shout out King Lee, you know what I'm saying? Joseon Nation. Shout out all the real niggas in this world. I know I done forgot about everybody that came through when I exhausted all my funds and all that came through for the kids, back to school shopping and all that shit. Shout out to them. Hazel, shout out to Hazel. Who else, man? The list goes on, man. You know what I mean? Steve will do it. We looking for you and your media. We looking for you and your media company to come through with something. You know what I mean? We just need a letter of recommendation to show that I do indeed with the community. Create Academy, Brett Mitchell. We need you to come through. Wise Investments, real niggas, man. You know what I mean? My big sister is a real nigga. My mama's a real nigga. My wife a real nigga. My kids is real niggas. But you know what I'm saying? There's been another one like the other one, man. And not your brother's son, nephew. You know what I'm saying? Don't see late. We'll be back sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? It's a minor setback. And you know what I'm saying? Everything I do is major. It ain't a comeback. I'm never going to fall off, man. It's Bricc.
They ain't never gonna fall off, Bricc, man. We praying for you, man. Wish you the best, and we gonna see if we could get you a character letter, because the way you take care of them kids, man. You know, me and Bricc, a lot of people didn't like Bricc. I always stayed in contact with Bricc. You know what I'm saying? Even when Big U didn't stay in contact with him, but I did. I just thought that he was trying to stay out of the politics online. I thought that he felt he was in a position to win. You know what I'm saying? He had Adam 22. He was focused on networking and trying to find a way to do something other than just the hood. You know what I'm saying? And he fell short this time, but it ain't over. Bricc ain't got life. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if Alex, now I don't want to call him while we on what you call it. Alex might not want to be recorded. So let's get to the content. CS2 back. Paperwork party on CS2 back. He got to bring the work, my nigga. Remember, he said he was when I first released it. He said that the wiretap. He said that he was gonna sue Money Mark Stevens, right?
I told them niggas. I said, yeah, tell on Mark Stevens we need $5 million. I set up $2 million. We're gonna run him up. That's why when I said I hope the big fella, because the bigger box said they trying to get spat. I told them niggas. I said, yeah, tell on Mark Stevens we need $5 million. I set up $2 million. We're gonna run him up. That's why when I said I hope the big fella, because the bigger box said
so what happened
they
to him
trying to get.
So what happened to him suing Money Mark Stevens? Oh, you ain't gonna contest Money Mark Stevens, huh? And what he said, right? You ain't gonna contest that, right? Now, Bricc Not the Trick is saying that Studdabox is saying you got caught on wiretap conspiracy to commit murder. You told us that they threatened you once you got to the federal 60th floor or the top, whatever floor you went to in your mind, but you went to the FBI building. And also, they came to your lawyer's office, so you met with the Federal Joint Task Force multiple times. Might have been more than that. That's just two that we know about. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what you said here.
Second thing they had against me, they press play, wiretap. This is why.
Did y'all hear that? First was the guns. They said we got your client on two things. He's in the conference room at FBI headquarters on a Sunday. This nigga, the Fed building's closed on Sunday, but CS2 back is there. His house was raided 2 days before his meeting on a Sunday. They tell him they got him for guns. Ex-felon in possession of guns. And they said that we got you on wiretap. Ain't that what Studdabox said?
Second thing they had against me, they press play, wiretap. This is why
they press play, wiretap. So he's claiming that he doesn't have to bring his paperwork. He never had his paperwork. He scrubbed the link that we had. The link that we had where he admits that he has the paperwork. I'm gonna find another link to it. I just ain't had the time. I'm really been on my business. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. It was me, Yael, and Bricc Baby on this one. Let's get to this. Shout out Bricc Not the Trick. I told y'all I've been fucking with the Bricc, man. Salute to that brother.
Scripts. I don't give a fuck. That's because a nigga called me that had a hot phone. Anybody he called is gonna be there.
That had a hot phone. Let's pull that back. The wiretap, transcribed wiretap, they didn't call him. He called Money Mark Stevens. What do he mean they called somebody whose phone was tapped, called him? Listen to this again. CS2 back is calling, trying to get Mark Stevens to put him on phone with Del Dog. Mark Stevens clicks over to make the three-way. And when he clicks over to make the three-way, Del Dog doesn't want to talk to him. He's the one that called. Nigga, nobody called him. Nigga, he lining them up. Y'all see how he try to backpedal his way up out of that?
In the transcripts, I don't give a fuck. That's because a nigga called me that had a hot phone. Anybody he called is gonna be there.
Yeah.
So then they said, it was in there that I was plotting murder for the
I was plotting murder for hire. Let's listen to that whole shit.
transcripts. I don't give a fuck. That's because a nigga called me that had a hot phone. Anybody he called is gonna be there.
Yeah.
So then they said it was in there that I was plotting murder for hire on Box. So then if that was the case, they would have arrested me for conspiracy to commit murder.
Well, that is what conspiracy to commit murder. That's exactly what we were alleging. Box was alleging, you know what I'm saying? That's why you got arrested. And you say you weren't arrested, but Detective Michael Coet says that you were the only one. Let's go to it real quick. Let's go to it real quick. They say you were the only one that was arrested. What? Hold on. Are you arguing in dispute? See, we need that work. Bring your statement, because you admit you made a statement. And what's his name admit you made a statement? Detective Greg Kading, who you believe is oh so reliable. Let's go.
Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
There was no other arrests made other than Cash Jones. We gonna play that one more again. Detective Michael Coet, partner of Paul Fournier, lead detectives in leading sheriff detectives who were on the joint task force with Greg Kading, and Paul Fournier was the lead of the case, him and his partner. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? You said then you would have been arrested. Well, Detective Michael Coet is saying you were arrested. This is the problem. So you work that off, huh? That's what that appears to be what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
The initial case, but what I understood was the investigation of the murder of Biggie Smalls, which was being handled on the Fed side. The initial case, but what I understood was the investigation of the murder of Biggie Smalls, which was being handled on the Fed side.
So the initial case that they're on him about is the unaliving of the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace, which was being handled by the Fed. Why, if you were in jail, are the feds dealing with you in regards to the unaliving of Biggie Smalls? So you ask, right? Well, let's see what we can find. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we can find, right? First, y'all need to understand the joint task force headed by Greg Kading, number one task was to solve the unaliving of the notorious B.I.G. So he's talking about this is what they wanted. And this is what Greg Kading says when he brings them on. Listen.
Help us maybe get some leverage on Suge. So
they wanted him to give
like
them
that.
some leverage
so like,
on
all right,
Suge.
we didn't.
Hold on. They're looking for leverage on Suge in the murder of Biggie Smalls. And they're on Wack about it.
Help us maybe get some leverage on Suge. So it was just like that. And so we're like, all right, we didn't know any better. We're like, well, the FBI says this guy, is worth listening to.
So the guy we talking about that's worth listening to is Studdabox.
Right.
So Greg, before you go any further,
help us maybe get some leverage on Suge. So it was just like that. And so
they were trying to get him, the trucker, just like the movie, to get some leverage on Suge. They're talking about solving the Biggie Smalls investigation. And the Biggie Smalls investigation comes out to say Poochie was hired by Tanisha Swan as instructed by Marion Suge Knight to orchestrate the hit of the Notorious Big. Now, mind you, CS2 Back is saying this. Greg Kading is saying this. Reggie Wright Jr. is saying this. Rat James is saying this. But to back it up, they wired up Tanisha Swan earrings, Suge's baby mother. Wired up her earrings. Sent her to visit Suge. Wired up. They have no confession or nothing, evidence that would help them prove that that's what it was. They sent Jimmy Iovine, Interscope Records, Apple Beats, wired up, allegedly. This is what Suge told me. That Jimmy came up there wired up also. And so they knew that it was some fake ass narratives being pushed. They just wanted to get off that $400 million lawsuit from Violetta Wallace. That's it. But here you got CS2 Back claim I ain't for Main Street. I ain't got shit to do with the Main Street case. Blase, blah. Right? Like we forgot when he said he orchestrated it. All right, bye-bye. Like we forgot he said he orchestrated.
And claimed you wasn't a fucking informant, and in walks Greg Kading, which I orchestrated that with Mark Stevens and my attorney. The only one came from that. You dropped the shit, we dropped the shit.
The only one from the feds, you dropped the shit, we dropped the shit, came from him orchestrating what happened with the Main Street Mafia Crips, Studdabox, Deja 34 Fallout, attempted extortion of Shaquille O'Neal and Mark Stevens by Cash Jones. Oh, that's some nasty work. Speaking of the work, I think it's time for me to do it. Let's finish listening to this. We're going to get into the work, man.
I use it for that to help a certain individual out. I called my attorney, had the attorney put Greg Kading and Mark Stevens together.
He put Greg Kading and Mark Stevens together. Mark Stevens was a suspect in the kidnapping, assault, and robbery of Studdabox, Robert Ross. Him and Shaquille O'Neal were targeted as suspects, as if they called the shots. And that's why the 7 Main Street Crips did what they did.
They put that together to ask Box on stand. If you go pull the paperwork, have you ever been a confidential informant to work for the LAPD, the FBI as a known snitch? He lied on the oath and said no. Greg Kading takes a stance, provides a document that this dude is in fact one of our informants, this, that. At that point, the judge looks at it. He perjured himself. Therefore, any allegations or any claims he's bringing on anybody is non and void. They dropped the charges on these 7 Crips and let them go. So in a sense, this Paul Roof freed the Crips. But, my target was to help another individual out. And claim you wasn't a fucking informant, and in walks Greg Kading which I orchestrated that with Mark Stevens and my attorney. The only one came from that. You dropped the shit, we dropped the shit. I used it for that to help a certain individual out. I called my attorney, had the attorney put Greg Kading and Mark Stevens together. They put that together to ask Box on stand. If you go pull the paperwork, have you ever been a confidential informant to work for the LAPD, the FBI as a known snitch? He lied on the oath and said no. Greg Kading takes a stance, provides a document that this dude is in fact one of our informants, this, that. At that point, the judge looks at it. He perjured himself. Therefore, any allegations or any claims he's bringing on anybody is non and void. They dropped the charges on these 7 Crips and let them go. So in a sense, this Paul Roof freed the Crips. But
he orchestrated this, put Mark Stevens with the feds. Is that what happened? Or did you put the feds on Mark Stevens, the target? You know what I'm saying? The target. You know what I'm saying? Is that who you put on and try to say that he's the one that you gave the low to? Because you were an employee. You remember you were an employee for Deja 34 Records. And this whole deal was the Deja 34 record deal gone bad. Before we get to the paperwork, let me go ahead and go to the Gmail, right? I think I got an email where Mark Stevens, let's go here. I'll start it over for y'all. Mark Stevens and DJ K-Slay. Let's start it over.
We got Mr.
Free Big Draw
Mark on there and draws.
That's it. Just Mark.
okay, just Mark, let me get my boy. So
Yeah, that's I got the audio right now. I'm sending it
Hey,
over to you.
Stat.
What's going on? I'm here.
all right, we got Mark Stevens on. And
Okay.
all right. Hey Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you. Salute, Mark Stevens. That's the way to salute everybody. Salute.
Yes, sir.
So I just had a back and forth with Wack. He claiming that DJ what's the brother name, rest in peace?
K-Slay.
K-Slay was still fucking with him while he was dead, and that they were putting
Fucking with him while he was alive.
all of them on. And I told him, bro, you a fucking lie. K-Slay wasn't even fucking with you at the time of his death, bro. K-Slay was being managed by whole other people. Why is he trying to push false narrative? He like, what? You don't know nothing. You don't even know. I said, listen, bro. So he said, well, look at this. He showed a PTR which showed that Studdabox message that said they on with Mark right now. Stupid. Or something to that effect.
That was the type of game.
I said,
These
so you admit that I talked to him.
These informants stick together, man. Hey, one thing about these rats, nigga, they a different kind of breed, nigga. Them rodents, they stick together. So we called Money Mark Stevens first and interviewed him, right? Draw said, nigga, I ain't from Main Street. This nigga putting the feds on me, trying to get me put in jail, nigga. And I ain't got shit to do with no Main Streets, y'all case or nothing. You tell me that he's a rat. Once I read the paperwork, I cut him off. Nigga, now you're finna interview with Due Sims and tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So we talked to Money Mark Stevens. We interviewed him. Stats 280 didn't record the original. It was a technical difficulty. Oh, Zesty 100. I think he got that. Well, it's on wiretap, so we're going to end up getting it anyway. You know what I'm saying? To prove that we had already interviewed Money Mark Stevens. But because the technical difficulties and we didn't get the audio, I come back and interview Money Mark again. But after we was initially interviewing Money the niggas tell Studdabox, get in the batter box, you up next. He takes Wack100. Nigga, I'm gone. I'm off the horn. Niggas be sneak dissing. You know what I'm saying? They got Mark on the phone, stupid. I'm gonna try to find that text right now. All right.
Mark Stevens this morning. Yeah, I already know that. Well, listen, bro. What I do also understand is that you wasn't managing him at the time. You're lying about that. You try to steal the rights to Sexy Canna. Well, not the rights, but you try to receive royalties off of Sexy Canna when they own 50% of the record, and so does Ray J. He denied that. Can you clarify how that went first?
Yeah, we did a joint venture, Knockout and Deja 34 Records. We did a joint venture, and I own 50% of the album. He owned 50% of the album, Ray J. Ray J was signed to Deja.
How did you obtain Ray J to get ownership of that record?
All right, so Ray J apparently had some dealings with signed with Death Row and Suge. And long story short, Studdabox brought me to Ray J. When I went to Ray J, I took him right to Alan Grumblack and Koch Records. They informed me they couldn't touch him because it was the politics with Suge and Death Row that had to be clarified first, and a debt had to be paid before they was willing to move forward. Wack called Suge and set up a meeting for me. I met Suge probably 3 times. The last time we met, we was in Vegas. We went to the Patton Mayweather fight, and then that night we smoked cigars. We went to the suite, and we hammered out a deal. And we did the deal whereas he released them from everything, and he was able to sign with Koch, Deja 34, and do the joint venture with Knockout.
Right. And at this time and period, y'all was still kosher with Wack100 with Cash Jones. Y'all hadn't came about on the information of his involvement as confidential source 2 back, which is in the paperwork.
Well, correct, because I was the one who put Wack with Ray J and Koch because I wanted somebody to look over him while he was on the West Coast, and he had to deliver.
This is the man. Him and DJ K-Slay are the ones that put Wack in the game. He's the one that put Wack with Ray J. Listen how Wack got his start. Shine Shoes.
For this album. And because Ray J, he was claiming blood, I put him with Wack, and that's how they got tight. It was a security issue at first. He was his security. And Wack even brought him to New York.
Wack started off as a security, not managing Ray J, as a security, because he needed, Mark Stevens needed somebody on the West Coast to look out for Ray J, who claimed he was a blood. You know what I'm saying? So Wack100 is an employee of Deja 34 Records during the time, and Sexy Canna. This is the album Sexy Canna was released through Deja 34. And we're going to prove that to y'all after this. But he started off, he was security.
York. He brought him to my hometown. He took him several places, but he was his security. And then after my album was done and we didn't have any more dealings, I guess that's when he started managing Ray J.
Okay. So that's the only thing with that.
We got
C and YG and all.
Because, and then after my album was done, and that's how they got tight. It was a security issue at first. He was his security. And Wack even brought him to New York. He brought him to my hometown. He took him several places. But he was his security. And then after my album was done and we didn't have any more dealings, I guess that's when he started managing Ray J.
Okay. So that's the only thing with that. And at the time of DJ K Slay's demise, rest in peace to the brother, he was not fucking with Wack100, right?
Man, rest in peace to the homie, man, K Slay. K Slay was actually writing a book. He was writing a book. And you know, in the book he was telling all the real, you know, and it was funny because he used to call me because he used to be like, yo, you hear all these lies being told, and I said, yeah, bro, but you know, I wasn't on the internet game like that. You know what I'm saying? I was doing other things. I got invitations, you know, to sit down and talk about what took place, but I never did. But you know, Slay was real pissed at that shit.
Yeah, we have technical difficulties. We're gonna have to take a little minute when you're doing this through the email. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Show a little bit of love. Just a little bit of love. Just a little bit of love. Love, love, love. Let's go a little past that. Maybe that'll work. So
we got Mr. Mark on there and draws.
That's it. Just Mark.
As days because he felt like dude was just, you know, he was portraying something and a role that he really wasn't. He didn't come in the game like that. You know, who put him in the game was me and K Slay. That's who put him in the game. And he was security for Ray J. That's how he started out. He was security.
He was security. He put him in the game, him and K Slay. He was security. You know what I'm saying? I ain't shining shoes no more. Clean on. That nigga trying to make y'all think he was a boss. That he was partners with DJ K Slay. Rest in peace. Like they was still cool. That's why he didn't go to K Slay funeral. Because K Slay and his people were already, K Slay was already writing a book to expose this rat. Save that rat, man. But introduce him to done. Let's finish listening to Money Mark Stevens.
Okay, and you own the Sexy Can I record 50%, and Ray J owned 50%, right?
Yes, sir.
And once they started returning publishing after the new laws passed with the DMCA and all of that, at some point did Wack100
We stopped at 6:21. Let's do this again. Boom. So we gonna go like
we got Mr. Mark on there and draws.
That's it. Just Mark.
Did Wack100 try to go claim royalties on a record that you hold the intellectual property to?
No, let me tell you what happened, man. When it was time for royalties to start being dispersed on the album, you know, I didn't even know, you know, I get a call from Wack because he told me that some money was owed to K Slay. Because I did an album with K Slay too. So he said, yo, man, you know, I know you got a royalty check, but some of that money belongs to K Slay. Now, you got to factor in, first of all, I talk to Slay all the time. I didn't know where he had got this misinformation from, right? But I do know he had a relationship with Koch. So long story short, I called Slay. I said, look, homie, if I owe you anything, it ain't nothing to pay, you know, but let's go ahead and wait for the royalties, all the paperwork to come, and we're going to see what's owed to who. Long story short, I didn't owe anybody. But what it did show me was, and to this day, Wack has never called and said, yo, man, it was my bad. I had misinformation. You know, that was your royalty check that you were supposed to get off of Sexy Can I. You know, he always just put himself in the middle of something and throw a rock and hide his hand.
Right. That's a familiar tactic that he used. So, okay, so you was cool with him from the beginning, even negotiated on some business as he.
Yeah, I met him with Studdabox. I met him with the homie Studdabox. That's how I first came to meet Wack, was through the homie Studdabox, right? When I met him, dude was driving trucks, seemed to be cool. Box was like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street. He seemed to be cool. When Studdabox defected, Wack picked up the phone and was basically being the interim, the middleman, because he was telling me Studdabox was defected, and I was like, okay, but my whole thing is, if he defected, why are you fucking with him?
Right.
If he defected,
right. So okay, so he says that Studdabox defected, and then you get some phone calls asking to speak to someone else, right?
Yeah, he called me. How many times? He called me, man. It was, man, a series of calls, 4 or 5 calls. He wanted to reach out to the homie, rest in peace, Dell Dog. And I don't give out nobody math, so I called the homie Dell Dog. I'm like, yo, homie, you want to holler at this dude or what? Because he keep calling me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want to holler at dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust dude.
That was Draws on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Free big Draws. Hey, look, you know what? We're going to get into paperwork on a whole nother video. I'm going to use the bathroom and start another one. Y'all got to tap in for the paperwork if y'all want the paperwork. If I got the word, y'all got to tap into the live this afternoon for the paperwork, because I want to be able to chop this up. This is, oh my God. But before we go, just so you know, he's not lying. You know what I'm saying? Just so you know, he's not lying. You know what I'm saying? Here it goes right here. Koch Records, Deja 34 Records. Deja and 34 is Shaquille O'Neal's number as the Laker. Deja 34, Mark Stevens and Shaquille O'Neal's record label. Koch Records brought out All I Could Feel, the Ray J album. April 2008, Funk and Soul, right? Sexy Can I featuring Young Bird. This was on Mark Stevens' album. Wack100 wasn't even managing him at this time. He was security. But because he had a relationship with Koch Records, he tried to double back and claim as if Ray J was on some royalties off of this, and as if DJ K Slay was owed some royalties off of any one of his albums. This is nasty work, bro. All I can feel. You know what I'm saying? All I feel. David Gresham Records, South Africa. Viva Entertainment, Koch Records, Japan, the U.S., and Koch Records, the U.S. Wack was security. Security. Why do Reggie Wright Jr., Wack100 work for Right Way Security, bro? Right Way Protective Services. That's his big homie. Why do all of these security guys think that they could be moguls? Why do they get with these record labels and these security guys think that they could be moguls? Like they understand the entertainment business. Reggie doesn't have not one platinum album under his tenure. Not one. As compared to Tupac, Snoop Dogg, the Dog Food album, Doggy Style album, Dogfather album, All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, Death Row Records, every one of them was multi-platinum. Except Dogfather. I think Dogfather was garbage. That shit probably went like gold or platinum once. It was a disappointment. You know what I'm saying? But in any event, this is the truth. He just gave it to you. Wack100 called him wanting to talk to Dog. I talked to Dog. Oh, hold on. We got to play that. Ooh, this shit is hilarious. I talked to Dog. I talked to Dog. Nigga, no, you didn't. Nigga, on that wiretap, you did not talk to Dog. Maybe you back channeled them later. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you back channeled them later. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't talked to Dog. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to that clip real quick. That's $1 million clip, man. For real, man. I don't know why y'all act like y'all don't know. I talked to Dog. Let's go here. I think this is it. We're going to play it twice to make sure that y'all hear it. Exactly what Studdabox.
And he won't take your call. I sent it to you. And he said,
I talked to Dog.
That's what you
But he said he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call. I see the paperwork.
Wait. And I think Mark tried to set the three-way up.
But they said he wouldn't talk. Yeah, and Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
But listen, you got to remember.
In the paperwork.
That's what you said is going off of what Dog didn't want to talk to you. Because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you claim that's what they say, what? Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you. And he said
I talked to Dog.
But he said he didn't talk to you. He wouldn't take your call.
I think, wait. And I think Mark tried to set the three-way up.
But they said he wouldn't talk. Yeah, and Dog said he was cool. He didn't want to talk to you in the paperwork.
But listen, you got to remember. Mark
that's what you said is going off of what Dog didn't want to talk to you. Because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you claim that's what they say, what? Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
That's why Wack100 cannot bring that paperwork. 30 days, Wack100. The countdown starts. Today is the 13th. So it's 31 days in this month. So you got to the 12th of November. You ain't even got to Thanksgiving. You got to the 12th of November to present the statements that you made in the FBI headquarters to the task force and the statements that you made at your attorney's office when Greg Kading came to visit you. Oh, yeah, Greg did admit that he came to visit you. Let me run that real quick because I don't want people to think Duke Sims is like him and just put jackets on niggas and lie about paperwork and shit without having the receipts. This is the Damu Kiwe conversation. We held to the highest of standards. You know what I'm saying? We ain't no ordinary Bloods. We ain't no ordinary Crips. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know what you talking about, but for sure, Greg Kading said that he was lying. Matter of fact, I could just get it off of Scandalous Los Angeles TV. Shout out Scandalous Los Angeles TV. You know what I'm saying? His YouTube page is immaculate, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I see he released some work. I'm gonna have to get to it. So let's go to, I know it's Greg Kading tries to protect Wack100, which ends up exposing him. No, so it must be on most Scandalous Los Angeles TV. Okay, my bad. So for anybody who wanted to see this, most Scandalous Los Angeles TV. So on most Scandalous Los Angeles TV, you know, he do it big. He got 2 channels, you know what I'm saying? He do it BIG like the late Frank White, you know what I'm saying? So he says that Wack is lying about orchestrating the shit with Money Mark and Greg Kading. You know what I'm saying? He exposes that Wack is lying about this case. You know what I'm saying? The lawsuit was fake. You know what I'm saying? This is what Greg Kading is saying about Wack100 getting on the internet claiming he saved the Shaquille O'Neal and 7 Main Street. He orchestrated all of that, putting Mark Stevens with Greg Kading. Damn, I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Bam. We finna get into this. We'll be going out, man. So bear with me, man. I made sure I got y'all the content, and then we're gonna break the paperwork down next.
West Coast tripping, time keeps on slipping. West Coast tripping, time keeps on slipping.
Wack100, whose real name is Cash Jones, is a music industry executive, manager, and entertainment personality. He has been involved in the hip-hop industry and has managed several artists. Wack100 is also known for his outspoken nature and has been involved in various controversies and public disputes. Managers and label heads get things done, and Wack assumes those roles for artists like Game and Blueface. But Wack's controversial comments, like his recent thoughts on Mark Stevens and Big U, have taken precedence in the news cycle. Wack believes the media's focus on the controversy is par for the course for him, a 46-year-old formerly incarcerated Pacoima, California native who says he was the first minor in the California state prison system at just 16. He came home in 1999, learned about the music game through working security for former Compton police officer Reggie Wright Jr., and propelled himself into an increasingly important position in the music industry. Wack is a frequent user of Clubhouse, where he single-handedly birthed an ecosystem of YouTube pages that screen record the arguments he has with everyone, from Spider-Loke to Jim Jones. The blogosphere thrives off negativity, and his most fiery moments feed that hunger. which fuels a perception that he's naturally contentious. He's been condemned by some for moments like his live-streamed argument with former Blueface artist Chrissy Rock, or his taboo opinions of artists like Tupac and Nipsey Hussle. A few months ago, Wack took to Clubhouse to enlighten his listeners and inform them about his hidden involvement in the high-profile lawsuit that accused Shaquille O'Neal and 7 Main Street Mafia Crips of kidnapping and extorting Robert Ross, aka Studdabox. Wack stated that he reached out to LAPD Detective Greg Kading to orchestrate a play that would free Shaq and the main streets. We also reached out to Detective Kading, as we were interested in hearing the details in his words. I'll let Wack tell the story first. Then we'll hear what Greg has to say in response.
The officer Greg Kading and Darryn Dupree or some shit.
Yeah.
When we coming outside on the stairway, me and my attorney, they stop us. They say, look, man, we can't afford this harassment lawsuit you filed. You know, I'm beyond the gated community. I'm claiming I'm embarrassed. I got to move my family. My wife is traumatized. She kicked my dough in. I'm putting extras on it, right?
Right.
They said, listen, man. They advised my attorney. My attorney said, look, dude said, drop the case and they owe you one. If you don't drop it, right, then you know what come with that. My attorney's talking to me. He know my personal business and say, you know how you are every day, so you don't really need that in your mix. So I said, well, listen, I don't need no motherfuckers hemming me up every day. We figured out as we figured out. I leave it like that. About 6 months go by, I look at the media, I see they got Shaq tied up. They're making accusations that Shaq paid the Main Street Crips to go kidnap this dude, Studdabox. It wasn't at LA Live, it was on Sunset Boulevard, right? So they tied Shaq into it. Shaq had did videos with the Main Streets because Box was his dude. They using all this shit against him, saying he's tied into the gang culture and all this shit, blase, 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 right? I call my man Money Mark, right? Money Mark is Shaquille's right-hand man, his business partner.
He called Money Mark.
I said, yo, Mark, check it out. Call my attorney. Tell my attorney, I said, put you online with that federal officer. Have your attorney call that federal officer to the stand. But first tell him to call Box to the stand. You want him to do one thing and one thing only. Ask Box if he's a federal informant, document it. Everybody from LA is in the courtroom, he's gonna lie. Trust me, I know him, he's gonna lie. When that happens, I'm giving you a jewel because Shaq looked out for me, right? I don't need this favor, so I'm passing it to you. Have your attorney call this Greg Kading in, have him take the stand, and then let him tell the judge and present the documents he had, the fingerprints, all the paperwork, the payments they've been paying this dude every month to show that this dude is a federal informant. At that point in time, Box has perjured himself on the stand. Whatever allegations against Shaq and anybody else tied to the case, they got to kick it out. I lay back. Money Mark calls my attorney. My attorney called me. I said, yeah, give him that information. That favor they owe me, let them use it. He need it. I don't need it. Because they got Shaq in the trick bag. You can go to Google. That shit is still on Google. They do all that. Sure enough, he get up there, Box under oath, denies it, all this. They call Greg Kading in the motherfucker. Greg Kading's coming with his file, hands it to the judge. The judge open it up. I guess, I don't know, it's some type of contract you sign when you signing up for these type of things, formal programs or whatever. The judge looks at it, calls, makes sure it's authentic, throws the case out. Not only does Shaq walk, but all the Main Street Crips walk too that day out of court. That's how that happened.
All right then.
Damn, Wack, you the one that saved Shaq then.
I saved
Right, I was about to say
and
that.
all the Main Streets. It's real shit.
Okay, all of that is absolute bullshit, except for the fact we met him at his lawyer's office. We sat down. We said, "Here's the deal, man. You know, we've had this case against."
He met Wack100 down at his lawyer's office. Wack100 told us he met them on the 60th floor of the FBI headquarters on Wilshire. That's two different meetings Wack100 done had with the federal task force. Nasty work. Let me play that back for you again. And then you can hear him saying that Wack lied.
The fact we met him at his lawyer's office. We sat down. We said, "Here's the deal, man. You know, we've had this case against you. We came up empty-handed. You know, sorry that you got caught in the middle of this. Somebody put your name out there. We didn't know any better, so we followed. You know, we gave fucking Studdabox the benefit of the doubt. Here we are. You know, was there an apology? Nah, I don't know. It's my style to kind of apologize. Sorry you had to fucking go through this. But nonetheless, it is what it is. The idea of suing us, fucking bullshit. Of us having an agreement like we owe you one, bullshit. The idea of him having anything to do with the trial of when Studdabox went to testify, and the thing fell apart. Cash had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. So he's just taking all of these pieces of information and putting them together like he was the puppet master. It's all absolute bullshit.
It's all absolute bullshit. And that's what we're going to leave on. Wack100, you got 29 days to bring that paperwork from the statement you made at the 60th floor, even though it's only like 17 floors at the FBI headquarters on Wilshire. You can Google that, right? The FBI headquarters on a Sunday, and also when they met with you at your lawyer's office. That's 2 statements. Oh, and while you at it, let's add and make sure you bring the paperwork while your Texas gun case, your sentencing transcripts, you could get them. You know what I'm saying? While your Texas gun case was dismissed in the interest of justice, bring them transcripts from the day that they dismissed that. Also, make sure that you bring we'll get them transcripts anyway. That's 3 different things. 2 meetings with the FBI, then also the sentencing transcripts from the Wheeler County, Texas, multiple gun case with stockpiles of ammunition headed towards Oklahoma in a rental car from California, across the state line. That's interstate commerce. So let's get to it, man. I'll be dropping that paperwork by itself in its own video live in about, what time is it? It's 12 in about an hour. So once y'all get this, it'll be an hour once this is released. Let's go. Damu and Kiwe.